Hello everyone, I'm Tracy Herman. I am the Colesville Fire Department Training EMS Officer. I was one of the first rigs to pull up on the scene that day. One of those calls that you will never forget. We always talk in the EMS world that we have a metal file cabinet that we put things in our brain and they kind of get filed away. That is one of them, but it's one of those in a positive way because seeing Lizzie now is a wonderful thing, and how also Emma and those that were on the scene that day. To me, that's one of the best things of hearing the stories after we go on a call and knowing what their injuries were and what happened afterwards. That's how we all learn too, just learning by what happened and what our gut instinct to do us and what our training to do that day, how positive it really helped. On that day, I know from Colesville, it was myself in the rig, Karen and Lyle Ernestine, Stephanie Martin, Poncho, Gerald Schultz, Aaron Martin, Stephanie Jasak, Davey Jasak, Tim Herman. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody from Colesville, but we were the first crew because it was technically our call that day. Cole called with Kewaskum. And this was one of the best teamwork calls. We can't do it alone. We all work as a team, and like Sue said, we all train together at different times and throughout the year. And without that training, this call would never have gone the way it did. And she talked about a lot of things that we work outside the box. There were a lot of things. I remember talking to Don afterwards, all the things that we had to do to work outside the box to get Lizzie out of the car that day. We can't train for that. There's things that we can do to train, but there's other things that we just have to do in order to do what's best for that patient at the time. So thank you to everybody for coming and supporting this. For Allington, for Kewaskum, Westmont Intercept, Washington County Flight for Life crew that day. This call couldn't have gone any better, really, for what we had to come upon that day. I also want to mention, I know we talk about just the crew members, but they're also bystanders. I know when I applied for this award, we had a lot of people that pulled up on the scene that day that also came into, and I know one of them is here. Stephanie was on the scene that day. We had many people that we were telling other people to go get stuff because we just needed their hands to go grab items. Do this, do that. Some of those bystanders were really, they were very, very extremely helpful that day by helping us do. We just guided them, and they did and jumped in and did what they had to do to also help. So thank you for those bystanders that were along. Thank you.
The way the process works to win this award is you fill out a sort of an application, you fill out a nomination form, and in it we ask a lot of questions. You know, what did you come upon that day? What was the first thing you saw? Let me know the steps you did. You know, all this, and then the last question we say is, what did you learn? And when you read them over, you kind of hear this. There's sort of the same themes over and over. They learn how teamwork is important, and they learn how you can't prepare for everything, and they're all extraordinary things, but you see it all the time. But I saw something I've never seen before in this one, and both Tracy and Sue wrote it. And what did you learn? The first thing they both wrote was the resiliency of the human spirit, the human body, how much a person can take, how much, as bad as it looks, people can deal with so much. And then they just talked about how Lizzie and how just extraordinary she was, how tough she was, and having known the outcome and her progression and recovery, just how tough she was through the whole process. So I mentioned earlier, these are the best events when the patient, when the person who we were able to care for and help can be here. It really reminds us all what we're here for, and we're here for the community and the people within the community. So Lizzie, if you wouldn't mind saying a few words.
I guess I first want to start off by saying thank you to everybody. Everybody keeps saying how strong I was, but it really started with you guys. Like, if you guys hadn't gotten me out and been strong for me that day, I wouldn't be standing here, and I wouldn't be playing tennis or running. So that's been super, super awesome. And then another thank you to you guys because you guys have also inspired me to become an EMT basic. So I actually just passed my psychomotor exam yesterday, and then I have to take my written exam later this month. And then I will work for Hartford Fire and Rescue. So again, thank you to all of you. You're incredible. And keep doing what you're doing because winning this award again just shows me you guys do the exact right things you need to do for training. And this award just proves that you guys have done such an incredible job.
And I don't want to bring up the scene that day, but I know that I'm so glad to see her standing upright. I know many of us can say that. She has color in her face again. Can we just talk a little bit about, because a lot of people learn you had 2 broken arms, 2 broken femurs, 1 broken femur, broken ankle.
Broken and dislocated ankle, a torn patellar tendon, broken femur, and then radius and ulna fractures in both of my arms, and then a severe concussion. So instead of putting casts on me, they put metal in, and I had 48 screws, 6 plates, a rod, and a wire.
That is amazing. And her faith and her family and everybody that has helped her get through this and this healing process. And 1 year later, to be and go play that tennis match that you were headed to last July 14th and take second place with Emma that day is amazing to me as well. So, Don, would you come up and say a few words? Don is now retired, but he was on the call with us that day for Westbound Intercept. And he was the paramedic, and I remember standing next to him, and I was the timer watching and just timing because it took us over an hour to get Lizzie out of the car that day. And it was the longest hour ever. So, but we had to keep time of it, so.
Thanks, everyone. I've been in this business a long time. I've only gone to see 1 patient in my entire career, and that was Lizzie. I drove down to Frederick Hospital to see her. I had no idea if she was going to be conscious, if she was going to be intubated. I had no idea. She laid in the bed. We talked for, I think, 2 hours. And the takeaway that I had from that was she wasn't concerned about herself. She laid in that bed. She said, I'm going to mend. But all she really cared about was Emma. And that takeaway that I had from that, I told that story countless times since then. And I thought that was truly amazing that you weren't concerned about yourself. You were concerned about Emma, who was with you. I thought that was incredible. So, I'm wonderful to see you here today. Thanks for letting me talk.
All right, you guys want to bring the plaques over? It is my pleasure to award the Colesville and Allenton Volunteer Fire Departments with our 2018 Scene Call of the Year Award.
So just those of you that aren't aware, to be an emergency medical responder, such as many of the people at Colesville are, to become certified is at least 100 hours of training. 100 hours. To be an EMT, back in my day, we did not have horses, we did have vehicles with motors in them, was 125 hours. It's now close to 200 hours of training. And it's ongoing because you need to every year keep your skills up You need to attend programs and then attend in-house training. To be a firefighter in today's world, to be certified as a firefighter level 1 is 96 hours. It's all about, as I said before, dedication. It's all about we are dedicated to help other people. And sorry, I got a little few tears here because these are kind of like my kids. I've been around so long that we did this. Our group did this, our 2 departments together. This is pretty amazing when you think about it and what teamwork does and how people can go. I think maybe the only one that has me on age is Pancho.